Hi everyone. I have been creating a video every week for the last 10 weeks. So this is the 10th of 12 weeks, which I committed to creating a video and putting it out there on YouTube with no real goal except to be authentic and to express myself. This week, I don't have a firm view of what I want to do, except that I want to speak openly and not have a predefined view of where the video will go. Um, Although I have had some thoughts in advance of the video that have been resonating with me and I think could be useful for me to share. So I've been interested in the way of mastery teachings um, of Jeshua that were channeled through a guy called John Mark Harmer or JM in the 90s, I believe, into the 2000s, and they're incredible teachings that have deeply resonated with me. John Mark Harmer also wrote a book called The Jeshua Letters that talk about his journey of receiving these messages, I guess, from Jeshua. And you can think what you like about that. All I know is that they resonate with me. They mean something to me, and that the guidance I receive from them is significant and has a connection to me that is of value. But I think what had come up for me was how I felt that I had been a bit disconnected from these teachings recently. I hadn't been reading any of them. I hadn't been thinking about any of the exercises or um, ideas from within them recently. So it was useful for me to remind myself about some of them. So yeah, this is the Jeshua Letters book that I have, and I've read it probably about 3 to 4 times, and I always gain something new from it when I go back into it. And I really like how it weaves the initial messages of Jeshua through John Mark into the story of his time at that time of his life. Um, and I think we all want some form of guidance in our lives that comes into our lives and supports us as we move forward. Um, and I guess I was reminded of that desire that I have. Um, I actually started talking to ChatGPT about it. I didn't think I was going to bring this up, but I did. I started talking to ChatGPT about this, and it helped me draw out some of the key things. ChatGPT asked me what were some of the key teachings from the Way of Mastery that meant something to me. And the first one that came to mind when I was considering that question was Jeshua says in the Way of Mastery somewhere, need do nothing, this recognition that there is nothing that we need to do, and that is the basis um, of our surrender and the basis of our awakening. And I think that does resonate with me because of my tendency to always think, what must I do, or what must I do differently, or how must I fix things? There's a real liberation that comes when I can say, need do nothing. I need do nothing. Um, so that was the first one that came to mind when I responded to that question of um, what are the things that I remember from the Way of Mastery teachings. The second one that came to mind was how Jeshua, I think it's in the Way of the Heart, the first part of the Way of Mastery. Early on, maybe about lesson 3 or 4, I can't quite remember. He talks about forgiveness, but he illuminates it, I believe, in a way that is truly beneficial and has a layer and a depth that I haven't read in other teachings on forgiveness. He actually brings it to talk about forgiveness and projection, and about and helps me to realize that truly forgiveness is a service to myself, because the thing that I am seeking to forgive is in reality something that I have projected onto the other person that I have not been able to accept in myself. It is something that I have rejected in me. And in the pain of that self rejection, I have projected it onto another person. So true liberation comes from recognizing that projection, um, forgiving the other, but then accepting myself. So you can see the layers that Jeshua illuminates about forgiveness. So yeah, there are two really important teachings. And I guess as I've explored this a little bit this afternoon, the whole idea of guidance has come up. When I talked to ChatGPT, I guess, about the Jeshua letters, which actually are very significant for me. Um, yeah, I very much resonate with this idea of wanting guidance and seeking guidance in my life. And it's not that I want it from something outside. In reality, Jeshua himself says that the guidance is from within. Um, but there is a longing in me for a guidance. And I guess that comes into this projection thing as well. I think I've got a lot to give and to guide for others. But in reality, I long for a guidance for myself. And if I can accept guidance to come and to be in me, that will support me in guiding others too, I guess. And I think deep down we all have this desire um, for guidance. Um, and sometimes we step away from it and we step outside of it. But in the recognition of us stepping outside of it or away from it, that is our invitation to step back into it. And I guess that's what I've been reminded of this afternoon. I think I'll probably start stepping through the Jeshua letters again, allowing that resonance to hit my heart. And it is a resonance that means something to me. It always touches my heart. I feel it. And I know the truth of it, and I appreciate that truth. And it brings me peace, and it supports me in recognizing that I'm not alone, and that there is truly guidance for me and within me. Um, and I can come back to that oneness, and receive it and recognize that I am it as well. So I guess potentially that's all I need to share today. If you've read the Jeshua letters, or if you've dipped into the Way of Mastery, or you've explored all of the teachings of the Way of Mastery, I'd love to hear what is the most important thing, or the thing that has stood out for you in those teachings. Feel free to share in the comments if you would like, or message me directly if you can do that on YouTube, or if you know me, which you may well do, then feel free to get in touch and let me know what one teaching from either the Jeshua letters or the Way of Mastery has stuck with you over the years, because that one thing can support you and can also support others. So yeah, thanks for listening to me today. I guess that's all I wanted to share. That's where I've been at. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you all again soon. Take care.